Moving on, Navy Federal. We finna get at you, man. Bring your ass here, man. This was crazy. The nation's largest credit union in the U.S. rejected more than half its black conventional mortgage applicants. Now, this is one that's big because there's always a clash on social media saying black people are holding themselves back. Systemic racism doesn't exist. Blah blah blah. It's all your mindset. And yeah, we talk about mindset on here, but I always say there is roadblocks that we got to deal with. But my only thing is let's find a way to get around them and overcome them rather than crying and complaining about them and doing nothing. And as we see, another roadblock. Now let me read this article. The largest credit union in the world has the widest disparity in mortgage approval rates between white and black borrowers of any major lender. So basically, Navy Federal approved more than 75% of the white borrowers who applied to new conventional home purchase mortgages in 2022, but less than 50% of black borrowers who applied for the same type of loan were approved. So damn near 100% of whites were approved and less than half of the blacks were approved. And this gets even crazier because who the oh, shit. My bad, y'all.
Yeah, it's good. It's crazy. It's more crazy because the dollar amounts were damn near equivalent to what a white person was making and a black person had to even get approved for Navy Federal.
Okay. It get even more crazy. White borrowers making less than $62,000 a year got approved at a 75% rate. Black borrowers making $140,000 a year were denied half the time. So ain't no excuse about, well, what about the money? And what about this? And they even were saying applicants who had equal credit and some of the blacks had better credit, more money, same down payment, still denied. What's the excuse if it's not a racial thing? How you feel about it?
This is what I really like this topic because it shows how the odds are stacked against us. When you're looking at these statistics, um, it's just like redlining, right? Like how they stopped us from getting certain homes. And what's so key about the loans for mortgage is that real estate, right, is how you build wealth in America, ultimately. So if you're able to get a home, pay that home off, now you have that home. Now you're able to rent it out. You're able to pass it down to your kids. This is wealth. This is something that can be transferred from generation to generation to generation. So when you see the disparity in how it's being approved, this lets you know the attack on us and not wanting us to get ahead. Verbatim. Like there's no more debate about it. This is what they're trying to do. This is why when you go and get a car loan, your APR might be 29% because they want you to get into a situation where you can't pay it back because you're paying so much into interest, you're never going to pay the principal down. So this is what they're trying to do. Or they're going to just not approve you to begin with because home ownership is where you build wealth. This is how you transfer it from generation to generation. So it's crazy to show. Like I said, it's with the car loans or even when you get the home and now you want to sell the home. They make it hard to do that too. People don't even buy homes from black people. You got to take all the pictures down and be absent from the home for it to get your home sold. So these are the things that we're stacked against. I did see that they issued a statement and saying that, they didn't know anything about it or whatever the case is, but they damn well know what this was because it's been going on for years and years and years. You know what I mean? At a point in time when we had black-owned banks and black-owned lenders, we were able to get real estate, but people came in and they burnt that down and they fucked us over. So now we're at a point now where we're being controlled by these banks like Navy Federal that ultimately have our future in their hands because this is what they're doing. They're not approving us, even though we have more credit, even though we're making $140,000 a year.
Damn near double the income.
In my opinion, this is just a clear statement time and time again. They don't fuck with us.
Yeah.
It's over and over. Like, how many times do we got to see this shit? Do we got to talk about this shit? The only time they fuck with us is when we're consumers. But when it comes to sharing wealth with us, they not trying to do none of that shit. Unless you forcing them to respect your mind and get in a position where they don't have a choice. And it's like, we got to let this one in. But 9 times out of 10, they're going to show us over and over again, we don't fuck with y'all. We ain't trying to fuck with y'all. We spend all our money with these white people. We do everything. Don't fuck with the blacks at all. We that's why we need to get to a point where when we do build wealth or get generational wealth for us black people, we just start building our own banks, start building our own schools, and start doing our own shit. It's at that point, and it's past that point. But at the end of the day, they don't fuck with us, cuz they love our money when we blowing it. And that's the only thing. We go to these restaurants trying to appease and fit in with these white people. And they come in here, they not treating you the same as they doing as they customers at the end of the fucking day. So we want to look good for them and fit in their spot, and they don't fuck with us. They don't give a fuck.
Now that's a fact. Just to touch on what you're saying about us trying to appease the white people, if y'all have ever seen a segment called "How to Buy a Negro," it breaks down the psychology of how they sell things to us. So a lot of times they'll make things so expensive. Do you get what I'm saying? To where they're like, you can't afford that. That's what they're secretly and subconsciously trying to say. And as a black person, what do? Oh, I can afford that shit.
Now we think it's cool. We want to
You-
show that we paid, that we
because-
got taxed.
Exactly. That's the way that we show that we are on the same level playing field. So we do become hyper consumerism or hyper consumers. We do go out here and blow $500 at the Mastros or whatever the case is. Meanwhile, we can't get home. So exactly like you said, when we're being consumers, they love it. But when we're trying to get something that we can call our own to pass down from generation to generation, this is when you see the problems arise.
How you feel about it, Joyce?
You know, I would say this definitely a really good topic, and I feel like this been happening for so long. Just of blacks being treated so unfairly. They don't want us to be ahead. Even from taxes and how the entire America is even ran, they don't want black people to be ahead at all. And I like to think like why, right? And it's because, in my opinion, I think if we were to get ahead, blacks, we would be so powerful. Like, we already so cold. We're the most talented, most authentic. We're creators. There's so many black people that they're creators. We created the elevator to the stop sign to the
Creators,
stoplights.
we
Like,
inventors.
like
all that.
I think we just so raw with it. White people, they're gonna do anything possible to keep us below them. We find out about everything late. When loans come out, even from schools, when you're trying to get loans and even homes, we find out about grants and everything maybe years after. And white people, they already applied to half the things that we don't even find out about. So it's always been unfairly with our people. So, but I feel like doing things like this, having more conversations about it, will help. But we just have to keep speaking on it to change,
I just feel like we've been talking forever.
and we got to keep talking.
See, the thing
Yeah.
with this, I'm always torn between this because naturally we want to lash out and blame white people, but realistically, it's the 1%, the 2% that's owning the banks, that's denying the loans. White people in a whole aren't denying these loans. They're benefiting off of it, which is causing us to look at like, man, fuck all y'all. But realistically, they ain't denying our loans. It's the motherfuckers that own the banks that's benefiting off us at the bottom fighting each other. You know what I'm saying? So I always have, it's always pulling me one way. Sometimes I want to fall into the, man, fuck all these motherfuckers type shit. Racism, this and that. But then the conscious side of me says, man, look at the bigger picture. You know what I'm saying? They want you to fall into that. But realistically, we're all getting fucked at the end of the day. When you think about it, when you break down the actual root of society itself, we all getting fucked. White, black, Mexican, Hispanic, Asian. If you ain't in the 1%, you're getting fucked. You know what I'm saying?
No, that's facts. And I wanted to be clear, like you said, it's not about a race thing, but it's about the ones that don't fuck with us. And the ones that don't fuck with us, we don't fuck with y'all. And like I said, they make it clear enough subliminally by not letting you get certain jobs, by not letting you get certain cars, by not letting you get certain homes, by not letting you do certain things. So as a collective, I feel like it's time for us to at least get to a point where it's like, yeah, even if we don't fuck with each other the way we should, it needs to get to a point we need to smarten up and stop using emotions or old trauma through certain things to not elevate ourselves.
But let me say this too, though. It's like you said, we've been talking forever. The time for talk is over with. It's time for action. What y'all want to do? They are constantly making the chess moves to say, I don't fuck with you. I don't fuck with you. I don't fuck with you. And we just constantly crying about it. Protesting, okay, cool. What y'all want to do? Nah, so let's pull our money out of the bank. For the ones who got the Navy Federal, every black person, pull your shit out their bank. Go bank with somebody else that's fucking with us. Or like you said, let's open our own bank. You feel me? And because the only thing that's going to take is money and violence. Money and violence.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You got to hit their pockets. That's the only way to do it. And we have to do it as a collective, not, oh, well, you just talking. Let me see you live. If one person go take their money out the bank, what is that going to do?
Yeah.
If you got 50,000 that take their money out the bank, now they're like, oh, hold on. This is affecting the business. We got to make a change. So it always is a collective thing as one, which is why divide and conquer is the number one tool. They keep us fighting each other to where we can't look up and see we all getting fucked. Because even to the white people out there, y'all, they got y'all looking at us like, oh, niggas just lazy.
Hmm.
Niggas just lazy. Why you can't do what I'm doing? You see right here, clear as day, there is no excuse. You got black people making more money, having better credit scores, more down payment, the same down payment, but they get denied. What other reason can it be? It can't be niggas is lazy because they got more money than you. So you more lazy than they are. So what's the excuse now? We can't keep playing like we don't see what the fuck is going on. Like I see comment after comment after comment. White privilege don't exist. I'm oppressed like you. How?
Yeah.
When we see the system set up like this, you may not be getting a home loan individually, but somebody in your race is, and somebody in our race is getting denied strictly because of their race. So we cannot keep ignoring this shit no more. But we can't cry to them about it. They don't give a fuck. If I had the privilege, I'd be like, oh well, figure that shit out.
And so that's kind of what I wanted to touch on too is like I don't want to have the disdain for all white people, but when you have a lot of people who are white who are benefiting from it, but then turn the other cheek when they do see an article like this, it does make it hard. And another thing for black people, exactly, we have to come to a point where we start to have, action within the community. There's black banks out there. There's black banks in Los Angeles. There's black banks in Oklahoma. Like you can go invest your money with these black banks. But the problem is we focus so much on, I would say, popular culture, which is the JP Morgan Chase, the Bank of America, the Navy Federal, the schools first, etc. Instead of going and doing the research, gaining knowledge of self and saying, how can I, you know what I mean, give back to my community and build within my community. Too many times we have these conversations about, you know what I mean, how they have fucked us over and the dirt they have done to us. Meanwhile, there is a black bank down the street from you struggling to keep the doors open. Because we look at them and it's like, I don't want to fuck with them niggas. They're not big as JP Morgan Chase. So let me go over here. Meanwhile, these people are probably going to give you a better deal, give you more effort, and treat you more of a human being than just a statistic. So we have to start looking at things like that when we're putting our money in the bank, when we're putting our kids in a certain school. You know what I mean? When we're going to buy a home, we have to start looking at it from a popularity standpoint because that's how we look at a lot of things. Well, this is what's popular. But most things that are popular are not for us as a people. And that's what you're seeing right now.
The only other thing I could think of on the flip side is like people that do bank with Navy Federal, they have a lot more benefits that you would get from just a regular bank. You know what I mean? It's more like a gold card for them. So it's easier said than done far as just pulling them out. But at the same time, it just depends on what you're standing on. But most people in those positions are not tripping because they straight. So it's like I don't have no problem. They ain't got no problem with me. You know what I'm saying? Then it comes to why are they denying certain people with certain money? Could it be backgrounds? Could it be, or could it just be all the way just race or whatever the case it may be? But at the end of the day, it's still no excuse if you're in a position to allow a person to fuck with your company. But then they might just look at it like, well, we ain't gotta fuck with y'all. Like at the end of the day.
No, that's a fact too. And like the banks that are black, y'all have to do a better job at getting in front of us as consumers. You know, you can't just expect, and this is what we talked about on the last episode about black-owned businesses. Just because you smack black-owned on something, just means that overtakes for the quality of something. So if you guys want more black people to bank with you, you have to be able to somehow increase the benefits, increase what we're going to gain from it. Well, however you do that, I'm not a banker, I'm not a broker, I don't know. But you guys have to figure out how to resonate with us and get us to come to you. You know what I mean? It can't be all on us because we're not the ones that know about it. Like when you go and sign up for life insurance, you're expecting that company to tell you how the shit goes, to market it to you. So at the same time where we do have to gain more knowledge of self and be able to research these banks, we need you guys to be researchable. We need you guys to be in front of our face and give us the game on what we have to do. And I think that can help, us build better and stronger within our community.
I agree, cause black people, we really own almost everything. I know a black woman that own an ice cream, uh, She own a whole ice cream shop where they make it for like from banks, grocery stores, even McDonald's. So, but I also agree, it's black people that do own these businesses. We have to do a better, just go better about people consuming it and putting it in front of us.
If you're in a position, my apologies, but if you're in a
Go ahead.
position and you have the benefit and you've had the grace in life to be the owner of the bank, to be the owner of the McDonald's, to be the owner of whatever Fortune 5, whatever company you have, that's somewhat becomes your duty to lead your people out of this slump. So again, we cannot just, you know what I mean, depend on all black people because people in general are not financially savvy. You know what I mean?
See, this ties into the self-hate and us being taught self-hate to hate ourselves. Like that video you was talking about how they sell to black people, they sell status. Buy this, and you're looked at as the same status as us. You're looked at as a higher status than everybody else. Because realistically, people don't really want change. People want to be successful enough to where what's going on doesn't affect them. This is why once we make it, we like, oh shit, the coast is clear. We good. I ain't feeling that heat no more. You niggas on your own. You feel me? Because like bro said, we got better benefits if we bank with Navy Federal. So I don't want to pull my shit out and go over there and struggle for 2-3 years until we get this bank to reach the same status as Navy Federal. I'm in Navy Federal. You ain't? Oh well, nigga, they let me in. I'm good. I got the perks. You feel me? So that's really what it is. It's what are you willing to sacrifice? Because it's not gonna just be easy. We ain't just finna pull our money out and oh shit, we good. Like you said, they might not have to purchase Navy Federal, but you might gotta ride this shit out if you want to make our shit equivalent to Navy Federal. So how many of y'all is willing to do that? You know what I'm saying? That's really what it's gonna take is sacrifice. You're gonna lose now for the betterment in the end. But most people like fuck losing now. I'm winning now. Fuck y'all niggas.
No, that's
You know
a
what I'm
fact.
saying?
And
That's the mindset of it.